E60 is live on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook right now. Tonight, on the season finale of E60.
Nobody will catch Randall Cobb! Touchdown!
Right away, everybody was okay with Randall Cobb.
How a kid from a small town in Tennessee,
hoping that we'll win the whole thing.
Cobb to the end zone, touchdown! And it's Randall Cobb!
became Aaron Rodgers' favorite target.
Rodgers looking over the middle, got Cobb!
This doesn't happen to people where we come from.
It was definitely a special moment.
Perhaps the best high school distance runner in the country.
It's going to be tight. Go, Mike, go!
The 4-minute mile within his reach.
Flanagan, soft pumping a little harder with those arms.
How would you describe what it means to have autism?
You did it, buddy. You did it. Good job, man.
And images of the year.
Let me tell y'all something, man. This is serious, and these are real tears.
The biggest names
Touchdown!
and the best stories in sports. Tonight on the season finale of E60. This is E60, Sports Matter. Presented by Just for Men Mustache and Beard, your best beard ever.
All right, everyone, here we go. When the Green Bay Packers lost Jordy Nelson for the season to injury, this guy became Aaron Rodgers' de facto #1 target. Christopher.
Randall Cobb is the first player born in the 90s to play a down in the NFL. With that combination of speed and quickness, he can change a game at any moment, it seems like. You know, he signed this big deal with Green Bay in the offseason. It came time to reward one of the people in his life who'd been pretty special to him. He found a unique way to do it. And that's our story, Randall Cobb.
All right. I can just clap for you if you want. Yeah. Everybody good? How many times have people come up to you and told you where they were when they saw that play?
Well, this is it, Rock, the season. Right here.
We're pretty much drawing up a play in the grass.
You're drawing up a play in the grass?
Aaron was like, okay, look, this is what I want.
With a division crown on the line, it was the single biggest play of the 2013 season.
4th and 7 for the Packers at the Chicago 48. Blitz is on. Rodgers scrambles left, winds up right back.
That ball was in the air forever. I promise you, it felt like 5 minutes just sitting there waiting for it to fall down.
Cobb at the 10 to the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown and a dagger. Oh, my goodness.
I blacked out. I don't know what you saw, but I blacked out.
The Packers are going to the playoffs.
When that ball came down, he got in the end zone, it was just pandemonium.
For Packers fans everywhere, a thrilling moment. For Randall Cobb's biggest fans, a defining one.
It's unbelievable. I'm watching him on TV, and I'm like, man, that's my son.
This doesn't happen to people where we come from. Not a lot of people have dreams that do come true, but he stayed on the right path.
Alcoa, Tennessee, near Knoxville. Here began Randall's path, son of parents who met while working at an auto parts manufacturer.
I remember us living in 7 different places growing up, all in the same county. So here we're at the house where I was 2.5, 3 years old. Here is where I got this scar on my forehead. It's my Harry Potter scar. You can see it. This was, what, the 4th or 5th place? Third or 4th place. We moved here after we moved from the place where I busted my head.
It was always a better place to live each time we moved.
You know, I remember playing this park, and seeing a fight break out and hopping on my bike and riding off and remember hearing gunshots, you know, just right here in this park.
He had a couple of friends that I would just tell him, I don't want you hanging out with those guys.
We tried to steer him in the right direction. I said, you know, if you have goals, you can't be around this certain group of guys.
Instead, Randall would spend time with this group, his father, uncles, and cousins. Through them, he would learn toughness and football.
All of my cousins were like, you know, 6, 7 years older than me, so I always wanted to play ball with them, but they're playing tackle football in the concrete in the middle of the road. You know, I can't go crying. My dad already told me, don't come crying home.
What would happen if he'd come in here and he maybe had a little tear going on?
I'd show him the door, get back out there. He knew them guys was bigger than him. They might have been a little tougher than him, but if you want to play, you know, you have to get out there. You got to take the bangs with it.
And there were other male role models who helped guide Randall.
Let's do our job out there. Y'all ready to play?
Yeah!
Men like his youth baseball coach, Mike Gwynn.
And Randall understood what the word commitment meant. Very quiet and confident. What you asked him to do, he did. And you didn't have to ask him twice.
You know, it was just kind of one of those things you grow to know somebody so well and being around them, just spending time, you kind of become family.
Well, if you're going to host a World Series, this is the way to do it. Teams from around the U.S. and from Puerto Rico are in Knoxville this week.
Hoping that we'll win the whole thing because the coach was supposed to get us rings if we won it. And I really want one of those rings.
The 10-year-old Knoxville Stars.
July 25th, 2001. The tournament's opening ceremonies.
It was a very festive atmosphere. Everybody was excited to get the tournament started, and all the teams were there.
Also there was Coach Gwynn's father, Charlie, who'd been in attendance at nearly every one of Randall's games. Seconds after these pictures were taken, 66-year-old Charlie Gwynn collapsed on the field, right in front of the 10-year-old players who knew him well.
Somebody called out to me that my father was down. He had had a heart attack, and he was on the ground, and my wife, Kim, was administering CPR.
His dad died right there in front of all of us, right at the park, and it was a tough time for our team and everything, but you know, you have those memories.
I remember it like it was yesterday. It's tough to see your kid hurt like that. It's tough.
Little Randall sat down and he took out a little scratch pad and he penned his thoughts.
He wrote a letter and he gave it to Mike.
With a little note talking about his friendship with Papa Charlie. It was very emotional to read that. When I think about a 10-year-old stopping to put his thoughts on paper, that's Randall. That's the way he was.
Tonight, the Knoxville Stars clinched the ABC World Series title, and they did it while mourning the loss of a treasured friend.
Being able to win that championship for him, it, I think, definitely took a little bit. It definitely meant a little more than, you know, just a bunch of kids winning a championship, playing baseball. But it was definitely a special moment.
There would be more to come, this time on the football field. First for the Eagleton Knights, and then as a left-handed quarterback for Alcoa High School.
Here comes Cobb to the end zone, touchdown.
Where he would win 4 championships in 4 years. But first, a shattering moment. Tragedy at his doorstep.
We walk out and I see the dead body. In that moment, I immediately thought about what Mom had said.
It's early spring in Alcoa, Tennessee, a manufacturing town 15 miles outside Knoxville.
We grew up right here in this house.
And Packers receiver Randall Cobb is back at a place he once called home.
So this is the house that I grew up in as a child, from about 3rd grade up through high school. This is weird. This is weird being back here. Bring up good and bad memories.
November 14th, 2006, 2 months into Randall's junior year of high school.
I'm getting my little sister ready for school. We walk out and we see some of the neighbors like walking over behind the other house. So I'm like, what's going on? So we get ready to walk over there and I see the dead body. 2 of the guys that I was around a lot growing up, one of them shot the other one right across the street.
He could have been with those people if I hadn't have said, you know, I don't want you hanging out with certain people.
In that moment, I immediately thought about what Mom had said. It kind of clicked for me. She guided me down the right path.
And Randall stayed the course. As a starting quarterback his junior season, Cobb would lead Alcoa High to a state title. The following season came another title, and he was named Mr. Football in the state of Tennessee.
Everyone locally think if you're from here that you should go play at Tennessee.
Top programs came calling, in-state and out of state.
I was totally convinced that this was a guy that could make a major difference in our program. And family was very important to him, and we embraced that in the recruiting process.
I committed to University of Kentucky. I knew what I was getting from the coaching staff. I felt like they had been honest with me through the whole process.
And so in the fall of 2008, Randall Cobb turned fall Saturdays into can't-miss spectacles. At a school best known for its basketball team.
It was the main reason why I wanted to go to a lot of football games. One game I go to, he'd be starting quarterback. The next game, he'd be starting wide receiver. He did everything for his team.
For the win. Touchdown, Randall Cobb.
As a junior, Cobb set an SEC record with 2,396 all-purpose yards.
It was nerve-wracking because he's so little. Every team he's been on, he's always been the smallest one. You want to make sure that he jumps up at the end of each play.
His body was taking a beating. Why not go and get paid for it?
So after his junior year, Cobb's path led him here.
Welcome to the 2011 NFL Draft.
His family was by his side. As the first round came and went, he was the last man still in the green room.
With the 64th pick in the 2011 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Randall Cobb, wide receiver, Kentucky.
The first thing that came to mind was that they're coming off a Super Bowl. They have all these receivers. I'm like, I'm not going to play. Like, why are they drafting me?
Rodgers looking over the middle. Got Cobb.
That question would be answered week 1 against the Saints.
Touchdown!
Then he goes out and returns a kickoff that he should bring out of the end zone.
Cutting left to the 5. He's straight ahead 10 to the 15. Slips the defender 20. Spinning his way, still on his feet. 25-30. He's to the 35-40.
I think right away everybody was okay with Randall Cobb.
Touchdown! 108 yards!
5'10" of on-the-field dynamite.
Deep down the middle. Yes! Randall Cobb, a touchdown!
Cobb flourished as the Packers slot receiver.
Cobb, a leaping attempt. He's got it between defenders.
And kick returner.
Nobody will catch Randall Cobb. Touchdown!
October 14th, 2013. A Week 6 game against the Ravens.
Snap to Rodgers, looks, drills the middle. He's got Cobb up in near the 10-yard line.
It really felt like I tore everything in that moment.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that one didn't look good.
Lying on the turf there, what goes through your mind?
Well, first I'm thinking of my mom. I don't want to know that she's having that feeling of me in pain or me hurt. And I know she's worried, so it's just get me off the field.
I know that he was trying to get up because he knew I was watching.
His right fibula was broken. The rest of his season was in doubt.
I was going to be there with him for whatever he had to go through.
I know my son was hurting. I hurt for him. But I also know that his focus was to get healthy, to get back on the field.
10 weeks later, in Chicago, he would. And with a division crown on the line, Randall Cobb delivered.
Touchdown, Green Bay! Randall Cobb got behind the defense!
And he hasn't looked back. In 2014, he set career highs in catches, yards, and touchdowns. Then signed a 4-year, $40 million deal to remain a Packer. The kid from the streets of Alcoa, Tennessee, had made it. Thanks to everyone who helped him stay on the right path.
This doesn't happen to people where we come from. You know, this is a small town. He's a little boy that lived out his dream.
I have nothing to tell you, but welcome home. Welcome home. And I love you. Welcome home. Welcome home. What you need? You know, they've sacrificed so much for me in my life, and been able to repay them. You know, that's what it's all about.